Hello, Lake Life viewers. Today we are continuing our 2016 challenge by watching the 5th movie in the Disney Animated Classics list, Bambi. Bambi was released in 1942 and is said to be Walt Disney's favorite movie. So here we go, let's watch Bambi.
So, interesting fact right from the beginning, Bambi actually was going to be the second movie that Disney released. However, Walt's kind of quest for perfection kept pushing it back, and 4 other movies were released before it. So if you're a Disney fan, this scene may look familiar to you, and it should. See, scenes from Bambi were actually reused in several other Disney movies. So this, actually from Beauty and the Beast, they reused this scene in there. Other things you can see, Bambi and his mother appear in The Rescuers. Bambi's mother appears in the very first shot of Beauty and the Beast. She can also be seen in Sword in the Stone and The Jungle Book. So, Walt and the Disney team reused lots of scenes from Bambi in other Disney movies. So, we just had our first interaction with Man. Something interesting about that, Bambi's mother says Man was in the forest. Bambi asks, why did we have to run? What was wrong? And she says, Man was in the forest. Kind of funny, Disney cast members or Disney crew staff used to use the phrase, man is in the forest, when Walt Disney was in the building. So, I don't know what that says about Walt's presence, but that's the term that they used to use. One more Man fact, the American Film Institute rated their top villains, and Man, just the generic Man, was rated number 20. This scene with Bambi and Thumper on the Ice has to be one of the most iconic Disney scenes ever. So, spoiler alert, Bambi's mom gets shot and dies. That's the scene we just saw here. Probably the number one thing that people know about Bambi is that Bambi's mom dies. But a couple things you may not know. Did you know that Paul McCartney, the ex-Beatle, actually credits the shooting death of Bambi's mother for his interest in animal rights? So obviously a scene that has impacted lots of people. But originally, and this was kind of interesting, I didn't know this, in the earliest manuscripts, it was actually supposed to be Bambi who gets shot and died, but Walt changed that so that it was Bambi's mom who got shot instead of Bambi himself. And that was Bambi. I absolutely love Bambi. Probably my favorite of all of the early Disney movies. The things that I love about it, did you know that there's only about 1,000 words spoken in the whole movie? Like 1,000 words of dialogue? And I love that because I think that the story relies more on kind of the imagery and the visuals to tell the story and to keep the storyline moving. But also what I love is that there's kind of 2 halves to that movie. The first half is sort of the innocent, cute Bambi, right? It's kind of the iconic Bambi that people think of when they think of the movie. It's with Thumper and Flower and Bambi and, the scene on the lake and all of that. But once Bambi's mom dies, like, the whole movie changes. Like, the second half of the movie feels very different than the first half. Right? The second half's much more serious, much more heavy. It's Bambi's fight scene, and it's the return of the hunter, and then the forest fire, and Bambi gets shot. But then at the end, it's kind of this original circle of life thing where Bambi, now has 2 kids of his own, and that's how the movie ends. So I really love Bambi. It's a classic movie. I think it's one of those Disney movies that every person should be required to see. I love it. Sherry, thoughts?
Yep, love it.
That's it. Yep, love it from Sherry. So we are moving along in our 2016 Disney Challenge. What's our next movie? Saludos Amigos? I think so. We're kind of going into a series of movies now that Sherry and I haven't seen many of. We will talk about that a little bit in the next movie. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you guys soon.